Why does my wife keep beating me on the age grading results at Parkrun? Am I just being roasted, or is the age grading system broken? By that I mean, does the system achieve the objective of ordering all participants by the level of their performance when taking into account gender and age? In my view, it clearly doesn't. Well, I would say that, wouldn't I? They say age grading shouldn't be taken too seriously, but I believe that if one offers such a system, then the system should strive to be the best that it can be. Briefly, here's how it works. You take the world's best time for the distance at your age, and you divide that time by your time for the same distance when you're at the same age. And you multiply that by 100, and that gives you your age graded percentage. For example, say you're a woman and you ran the 10k in 42 minutes. At age 23, the world's best time is about 29 minutes, also run at age 23. Multiply that by 100 and you get a percentage of 69.05. So as a 23-year-old woman, your 10k in 42 minutes is worth 69.05%. The problems arise when determining the world's best times, as the data sets are not robust, particularly for older age groups. We've simply not got enough data. We haven't really got enough data on the men's side, but on the women's side, for the older women, we certainly haven't got enough data. Now, there are several age grading systems and they all give slightly different results. However, Parkrun uses the World Masters Association age graded calculator with the tables set to 2006-2010. I'll put a link in the description below the video to the calculator. So here we have the latest Eastleigh Parkrun results. We can see that I came 46th, there I am, Derek Jennings. I am a veteran male 63-year-old. I ran 26:10 and I got the age graded percentage of 62.93. And we can see also below me, there's my wife Penny, as a female veteran 60-year-old. She ran 27:38 and she gets an age graded percentage of 69.24. So if we sort these results by the age graded position, we can see that Penny, my wife, she comes well ahead of me. There she is there, and I'm sort of right down here. Oh dear. So if we return to the age graded calculator, we can see that running a 10 minute 5 kilometer distance as a male aged 63 gives me that exact percentage that we just saw in Eastleigh results of 62.93. And if we look at the result for my wife Penny, we see that for the same 5 kilometer distance as a female aged 60 running a 27:38, she gets exactly the percentage given to her in the Parkrun results, 69.24. I should mention here that we are using the 2006-2010 tables. I argue that the calculator does a poor job with respect to male-female comparisons and would greatly benefit from an update. Most people are probably aware that the system tends to favour older females. That is, older females get a much higher age-graded result relative to their similarly aged male counterparts. So you might think, that's pretty obvious even without an in-depth analysis. Just glance at a few results and you will see that. We're looking briefly at the October 14th 2023 Bushy Park results. We can see that indeed on age grading the first two positions are indeed occupied by older ladies.
This being despite the fact we've got 541 women as opposed to 722 men in the event. In fact, yeah, most of the top 10 positions are occupied by older people, except for this position here, which is a younger male, 15 to 17. This is fairly typical of most park run results.
What's the fuss? This discrepancy might even encourage more women into Parkrun. Nowadays, women are almost equals. I say almost because we still have anomalies such as the women's heptathlon as opposed to the men's decathlon. Perhaps a tacit assumption that women can't handle 10 events. Women participate much more in sport these days than they did in the past. I believe they don't need any spurious carrots. The age grading gender mismatch in Parkrun, in my opinion, is rather archaic. A bit like having a veterans female 35 category in a race. The system is simply not doing a good job of what it was set up to do, provide a good performance comparisons across age and gender. So, what is exactly wrong?
Here we're looking at the top age graded performances at Parkrun for the week of the 23rd of July this year. These are the results that I first saw when I decided to make this video, and we can see that only one man has made it. Here he is, Peter has made it into the top 20. And he is a 62-year-old male, and he ran a 17:08 to get an age-graded performance of 95:23. And you'll see that most of the people here are older ladies. And if we look at the top age-graded performances at each event for the week of the 14th of October 2023, we see that this time 4 men have managed to make it into the top 20. Nicholas at 4th position, and then we've got another one here, another M7074 here, and our 4th man down here. So that's 4 out of 20 as opposed to the 1 out of 20. Still heavily biased towards the older ladies.
To get a similar percentage to our 62-year-old man who ran the 17:08, a 62-year-old woman would currently have to run 20 minutes and 40 seconds, but I believe a mark for the woman closer to 19:17 would be a more equitable mark. So how can we achieve a more equitable system? I've looked at the 5 fastest world-class male and female times in events ranging from the 100 metres all the way to the marathon, and compared the average of the 5 fastest male times to the average of the 5 fastest female times. The reason we don't just compare respective world records is to smooth out the results a little. We don't want one exceptional world record skewing the figures.
So here we have the 5 fastest times by distinct men in the 100 metres, and I have taken the average of those times, and I've done the same for women, and we can see that on average in the 100 metres at the world class level, women take 9.29% longer than men. I've done the same for the 200 metres, where on average women take 11.32% longer, and I've done the same for various distances, including of course the distances we're most interested in, the 5k track and the 5k road race. And we can see in the 5k track women take 11.52% longer than men, and in the 5k road race they take 12.29% longer than men. And I've done the same down to the marathon, where the difference drops to 9.82%. I've put all those figures together, got the race distance down here on the left hand side, so you can see for the 100 metres women taking around 9.29% longer. Now the distances we're really interested in are the 5k track distance and the 5k road distance, but generally if we come across here and look at this graph, we've got the percentage difference on the vertical axis on the left here, and we've got the race distance on the horizontal axis here. We can see that the percentage that women take longer than men for the distance doesn't really vary. It's actually quite consistent. Back to the 5k distances, the greatest difference is for the 5k road race, which is probably more akin to the parkrun, and that's 12.29%. So we're going to be generous to the ladies here and call that 12.5%, because that's about an eighth. Have what I call the 1/8 rule. To get the women's predicted time, we can get the women's predicted time from the man's actual time and multiply by 9/8. So we're adding 1/8 onto the man's actual time. So if a man, for example, takes 24 minutes at a certain age to run the parkrun, we'd expect the woman to take 27 minutes, adding an eighth on to the 24. So then, according to the 1/8 rule that I've just proposed, the 60-year-old man running 24 minutes should get approximately the same age grade percentage as a 60-year-old woman running 27 minutes. But the parkrun calculator gives us 66.81 for the man and 70.86 for the woman, a difference of over 4%. So that's quite significant. What happens when they run similar times? So a 60-year-old man running 24 minutes and a 60-year-old woman running 24 minutes. Parkrun gives the age grade as above, 66.81 to the man and 79.72 to the woman, a difference of 12.91% between the two. Now say these two people, they age at the same rates, same number of injuries, etc. They both reach 70 and their times are now 27 minutes for the parkrun. This gives our 70-year-old man 65.31 age grade and the woman 82.47 as an age grade. But now, look what's happened here. The difference is, according to parkrun, is now 17.16%, whereas they run in the same times, now they're both 70 to each other, and they run in the same times when they're both 60 to each other. The difference when they were 60 was only 12.91 and now it's 17.16. That is saying that there's a tacit assumption here that women age much more quickly than men. I mean, that's it. Otherwise, you wouldn't get this huge difference. The parkrun calculations, yeah, I'm afraid in the background it's saying that women age much more quickly than men. And if we look at another, say, 65-year-old man and 65-year-old lady running exactly the same time, 32 minutes when they're 65, their difference in age rating is 11.92. Now, they slow down a bit to, say, 4 minutes when they get to 75, same two people, but they're still running the same times. And now the difference is between the man and woman's percentage is 14.72. Again, showing that women age much more quickly than men. I don't believe that, and you probably don't either. But that's sort of an underlying assumption that seems to be built in to the this calculator.
Given the fact that women tend to live slightly longer than men in developed countries, the fact that the parkrun results are making it appear that women age more quickly than men seems rather bizarre, to say the least. But there is a very obvious reason for this discrepancy in the results, and that is that there are fewer older top level women than there are older top level men. Men have simply been competing in sport for longer. It's a cultural factor rather than a physical factor. Records set from a larger pool of people are very likely to be tougher than records set by a smaller pool of people. That's natural. So the situation should right itself given enough time, lots of time actually, as today's younger female athletes hopefully maintain their healthy lifestyle as they age. But this only works if the reference tables used to do the calculations are kept up to date as new world records are set. Relative to the data for men, robust data for older female athletes doesn't currently exist. In fact, even for older male athletes, the data is not really that robust. So how can the age grading system be fixed or improved, or should it even be fixed, stroke improved? Please let me know what you think in the comments. One solution could be to use the 1/8 rule mentioned earlier, multiplying the men's world record data by 9/8 to calculate the data set for the women, and calculate the women's age graded percentage using this new data for ages above 30, say. But here's the important point. Calculate women's age graded percentage off women's world record data for ages less than 30. Then, if we update the reference tables every 5 years, then in 5 years' time we can calculate a woman's age graded percentage off world record data for ages less than 35, and in 10 years' time we can calculate the woman's percentage off women's world record data for ages less than 40, and so on. Over time, dropping the dependency on the men's data to calculate a woman's percentage. Of course, if the way age graded results were to be updated, then that would likely create a dichotomy in the results. We'd have before and after result sets, and it wouldn't really be useful to compare the two. So maybe we should carry on as we are. Please let me know what you think. I hope this analysis hasn't come across as too critical of Parkrun, as I love Parkrun. It was a major player in getting me back into running, and has had a very positive effect on my overall health, which continues to be a battlefield, unfortunately. I love the idea that we can compare our performances, taking into account gender and age, with all the other participants and with our younger selves. I just wish it worked a little better to eradicate that niggling feeling that I have that this isn't quite right every time I'm looking at the results. That's it from me. That's my take on the age grading. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Take care, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.